Yo, what's up guys, it's me Jake here, and I am going to be doing a video that I've seen a couple times from my homie Plasm's Manga and HPL Manga. I'll leave their links in the description below. If you have yet to subscribe to either one of them, please subscribe to both of them. They're really good people, they're really good content creators, and they definitely deserve a sub. But this video is going to be about a series that I will never read, because I know there are a lot of culprits out there of people with thousands, hundreds, and even so many, too many to count, on their planning on AniList or my anime list, and they're not going to get to these manga. Now, a lot of these series I don't even have in my own planning, because if I had them in my planning, I know I would never read them. And I know I'm a culprit of having 1,000 series in my planning. I think I have like 100 in my anime planning, and I think I have around like 200 in my manga and light novel planning on my AniList, because I actually sort my AniList pretty well. I will be very honest about that. But yeah, these are just some series I will just never pick up or read, because I feel like it's just going to be a waste for me, or I just won't like it. So yeah, here we go. And like I said in my last video, every single video I'm going to be starting with a question, and I want you guys to respond in the comments. What are some series you either dropped or just don't want to read ever? Just drop them down in the comments below. I want to see what you guys will never read or will have dropped in the past, to kind of give a perspective of what my viewers are kind of dropping and dislike. So please put those down in the comments below, and let's get straight into the video. Series number 1 is going to be a series by my most hated mangaka, Junji Ito. Now, if you don't know anything, I do not like Junji Ito works. And there's a couple works I've yet to read, like his short story collections, and also this work, Uzumaki. There is not a single chance I'm going to read this abomination. Now, I know what you might be saying. How do I know it's an abomination without ever reading it? Just by hearing the name Junji Ito. I really am probably the biggest Junji Ito hater on all of this. Now, I'm going to be very honest here. I love the look of the singles and the hardcovers. Both of them look amazing. But that does not mean it's a good series. Dissolving Classroom is probably one of the nicest looking volumes, but when you flip inside, it's literally a 2 out of 10. So I'm going to be very honest, Junji Ito is not consistent at writing his own stories. He's very consistent at making nice art that looks very creepy, that you will literally get some bone-chilling stuff about, but you will not understand what the hell is going on, or you even want to read, or if it's even good, because all it's doing is trying to bait you, and that's all Junji Ito is. It's just some nice horror bait that is not even that good. If you want some good horror manga, go to something else, because I bet you, I think Portis is better than every single work that he's written that I've read, and that's saying something, because I think Portis is like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I think the only thing that Junji Ito has like drawn that I would actually think is good is No Longer Human. And you know that's bad because the only thing he has to do is what he's good at, and that's draw. Now, I'm done with my Junji Ito hate. I know there's a lot of Junji Ito haters inside of the MangaTube community. I just want to put my stance as the #1 Junji Ito hater. Next one is a pretty big one. There is a box set for this series, which I've always been tempted to buy, and that's Bakuman. If you don't know anything about Bakuman, just look at these panels. I'm sorry, I don't think I can read this. I like light novels. This is another level. I think I'd rather read Hunter x Hunter. I'm being serious. Because at least there's some action in that series. Bakuman, I know I'm not going to hate Oba and Obata. They made Death Note a pretty good series. I really like Death Note. It is pretty wordy as well. I think Oba, a lot of his stories are pretty wordy. Platinum Man I've read a little of, and it is also a little bit wordy. And this is no different at all. Like, not a singular bit. If it was different, it would not be that wordy. That is just too much. Now, for me, that panel would take me probably 10 minutes, because I would be falling in and out of sleep because of how bored I'm getting. I'm sorry, I'm not going to read Bakuman. No matter how many people tell me it's a 10 out of 10. I think I could very much enjoy Bakuman. I think the premise is pretty interesting. I like the whole thing about trying to become mangakas and seeing how far they can get. I think that's interesting. But there's only so much I can do to read a series. And that is excruciating pain. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this right now. I think One Piece has a lot of words. I'll be very honest. I think it has a lot of words. But same thing as, like I said, with Hunter x Hunter, at least there's action and panels that don't have that many words, and that's kind of often. There's some chapters that have a lot of words and some that just barely have any, but what I see from Bakuman is just every chapter is literally just a novel. So, sorry Bakuman fans, I just can't read it. Now, my third series. Another big one that I do have a solid explanation for. Gantz. Now, my explanation is because I either have to read it online, which you guys know, I don't like reading online. I really hate reading online, actually. Number 2, I really like reading singles. If you know Gantz, that's impossible to get without spending $1,500, and there's 37 volumes. So that's out of my price range. And number 3, the omnibuses are thick with 17 Cs, and I really don't want to read that. Now, I think that's a solid enough reasoning why I don't want to read Gantz. I don't think that you can really deny those factors of why I don't want to read Gantz in that kind of sense. Also, another reason I don't want to read Gantz is I'm scarred from Gigant. I think that series is one of the biggest dumpster fires I've ever read, and I've read 3 volumes, and this is one of the only series I've dropped. I think almost every series I've dropped was in my manga I've dropped video, and that's because I'm stingy, and I don't like dropping series, and I really like going till the end. If I do drop it, I usually pick up the manga and read it later on, or I will read it or watch it later on. It's just because I dropped it because I was too busy at the time. I don't really drop series because I dislike them. Gigant was one of them, and that just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I cannot get another Hiroyo Oku work, or even read one. I feel like I'm going to want to vomit because of Gigant. I'm going to get PTSD flashbacks of Gigant. And if you know anything about me, I want to burn those volumes that I have, but I am a hoarder, and I cannot get rid of volumes that well. That's just who I am. But those are the volumes that I want out of my collection the most. I probably will sell at one point in the coming months. But yeah, I can't read Gantz because of Gigant. Now, the next series. There's another good reasoning on the main reasoning I don't want to read this series, and that's going to be Kingdom. The reason I don't want to read Kingdom is, A, it's really long, and I'm not in the mood to read something really long very often. I'm not really in the mood for that almost at all, unless it's One Piece or Bleach. That's how it goes. Or Awashi. I think Awashi's amazing, but 30 volumes is not what I would consider super long. It's long, but not like extremely long, like 63. I think Kingdom's out, or somewhere in the 60s. I know it's somewhere in the 60s. Could be very much off by 63, but that's just I just remember 63 coming out. It could be a while ago. Just don't bother that. But another reason, the scans. They changed the wording on so many names because they have Chinese names that are different in both Chinese and Japanese that they have written differently in the scanlations. Yeah, it's just something I just feel like I would not be able to get right with how they spell Shin 2 different ways, in Xin and Shin. I feel like that kind of stuff would just annoy me, and I wouldn't like that. So that's another reason I just don't think I could read Kingdom. I think the art's amazing, and I definitely do like politics in my series, but I just don't think I can read Kingdom. Maybe I can watch it, but that's just saying maybe, if I can get through season 1 and 2, which I think is 50 episodes of probably some of the worst CGI I've seen in my whole life. Like, ever. I don't think I've ever seen a single bit of CGI worse than that, and that's saying something, because I've watched a lot of bad CGI. Like X-Arm, for example, I've given that show like 7 episodes. I'm gonna read X-Arm at one point because I hear the manga is amazing. The art I've looked at, and it looks incredible. So I'm not considering X-Arm. The anime I'm considering a drop, but I'm gonna continue it. So I don't know if I'm gonna consider that drop. But Kingdom, I can't. That and CGI is terrible, man. Even on the opening, which the opening has the most budget basically put into it, that thing is just horrendously bad looking, and I just can't do that. It's just, it'll break my heart and soul. Now, the next and last series is one that is probably the most likely that I will probably read. I just don't want to read it because I've read a little bit of it, and I think it's pretty just bad, and that's Bungo. If you don't know anything about Bungo, it's a baseball manga. I do really like my sports manga. I really love them. Baseball is one of my favorite sports in terms of sports manga. I'm gonna be very honest. I don't really like watching real life baseball. It's a very slow sport and I just can't get into it. But baseball manga is incredible. I like a lot of baseball manga. Bungo is not one of them. And it's like 400 something chapters. So maybe it gets good later on. And that's the reason I might pick it up again and see if I like it. But I don't know. It's just one of those ones where I feel like it could get really good, or it could just be horrendous all the way through. And that's why I just don't think I can read Bungo. I just have a feeling I just don't want to read it. It's just something I just want to keep away from me. The art's okay. The characters are horrendous. I really hate the main character. He's one of my least favorite characters in all of any manga. He is terrible. He's annoying, he's stupid, and he is basically the definition of a brain-dead, emotionless MC. That is literally the epitome of this MC. It is absolutely ridiculous, and I just don't think I can read Bungo because of that. Gives me an icky feeling. That's it. But that's it. That's the 5 series. I don't think I'll ever be reading, even if I get it in my collection or if it gets English print. Don't think I'm going to be reading them. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I see you guys next time. Peace!